Hello, my friends. If you're over 50, over 60, or even younger and feeling bloated, tired, constipated, foggy in the brain, this message can change your life. Today I'm going to share with you the H1 Natural Colon Cleanse. No harsh laxatives, no dangerous chemicals, no expensive detox kits. And no, you're not carrying 12 kilograms of waste stuck inside your colon. That's a myth. But what is real is this: sluggish bowels, impacted stool, toxic buildup from poor digestion, chronic inflammation, and this can make you feel heavy, tired, and sick. Let's fix that the safe way. My friends, listen very carefully. One of the biggest mistakes people make when it comes to cleansing their colon is trying to force it. They think if they push harder, flush harder, stimulate harder, they'll get better results. But your body doesn't work that way. Your colon is not a clogged pipe. It's a living, intelligent organ with nerves, muscles, and a delicate lining that depends on balance. When you use harsh laxatives, strong stimulant teas, or aggressive overnight flush products, you're not restoring health. You're shocking the system. And shock is not healing. Let me explain something very important. Your colon moves through a process called peristalsis. These are gentle, rhythmic, wave-like contractions that naturally push waste forward. This process is controlled by your enteric nervous system, often called your second brain. It communicates constantly with your actual brain, your hormones, your hydration levels, and even your emotional state. When everything is working properly, you don't have to think about going to the bathroom. Your body handles it smoothly and efficiently. But when you rely on stimulant laxatives, what happens? They artificially irritate the lining of the colon. That irritation triggers a strong contraction. You go to the bathroom, you feel relieved, and you think it worked. But here's what's really happening behind the scenes. The colon starts depending on that external stimulation. The natural nerve reflex begins to weaken. The muscles become less responsive. Over time, you need more of the laxative to get the same result. That's dependency, and that's dangerous. I've seen this over and over again. People in their 50s, 60s, 70s, good people who just want a relief from constipation. They started with something mild, then it stopped working, so they increased the dose. Then they switch products, and years later, their colon barely moves on its own. My friends, that is not cleansing, that is weakening. True colon health is about restoring natural movement, not replacing it. If your colon is sluggish, you have to ask why. Is it dehydration? Is it low fiber intake? Is it lack of movement? Is it stress? Is it poor gut bacteria balance? The colon responds to your daily habits. It doesn't respond well to punishment. Let's talk about dehydration first. When your body is low on water, the colon's job is to absorb as much fluid as possible from the waste inside it. The drier the stool becomes, the harder it is to pass. That's not a disease, that's physiology. So instead of forcing the colon to contract harder, give it what it needs: fluid. When you hydrate properly, stool stays soft. Soft stool moves easily. The colon doesn't need to strain. Now let's talk about fiber, but not just any fiber. Fiber works because it creates bulk and retains water. Soluble fiber forms a gel-like substance. Insoluble fiber adds structure and weight. Together they give the colon something substantial to push against. Without fiber, the colon has nothing to grip. It's like trying to push air. But here's the key. Fiber must be introduced gradually. If you suddenly overload your system with fiber powders while dehydrated, you create bloating and discomfort. That's not the fiber's fault, that's improper use. Restoration requires patience. Another critical factor is movement. The colon responds to body motion. When you walk, your abdominal muscles contract and relax rhythmically. That motion stimulates peristalsis. When you sit all day, especially for long periods, the colon slows down. Gravity isn't helping you. Muscles aren't helping you. Everything becomes stagnant. Movement equals movement. Even something as simple as a 20-minute brisk walk daily can dramatically improve bowel function. No pills required. Now let's discuss stress, something most people overlook. Your nervous system has two main branches, the sympathetic fight or flight and the parasympathetic rest and digest. When you are constantly stressed, anxious, or rushed, your body prioritizes survival, not digestion. Blood flow shifts away from the intestines, motility changes, elimination becomes irregular. You can't heal your colon while living in constant tension. Deep breathing, slowing down while eating, chewing thoroughly. These are simple habits, but they send powerful signals to the digestive system that it is safe to function normally. And then there's the microbiome, the trillions of bacteria living inside your gut. These microorganisms produce compounds that nourish the colon lining and regulate motility. When you wipe them out with poor diet, excessive antibiotics, or chronic stress, bowel function suffers. Restoration means feeding the good bacteria, not flushing everything out indiscriminately. My friends, cleansing should never mean violence toward your body. It should mean support. When you restore hydration, fiber balance, movement, magnesium intake, and nervous system regulation, something amazing happens. The colon remembers how to work again. It doesn't need to be whipped. It doesn't need to be shocked. It needs consistency. Think of it like physical therapy. If a muscle is weak, you don't tear it down. You strengthen it gradually. The colon is no different. You want daily, comfortable elimination, not explosive urgency, followed by days of nothing. The strongest digestive systems in the world belong to people who practice steady habits, not extreme cleanses. So if you've been depending on laxatives, don't panic, but start transitioning toward natural support. Increase water slowly, add whole foods, walk daily, reduce stress. Allow your colon to rebuild its strength. Healing is not dramatic, it is disciplined. And when you respect your body instead of forcing it, it responds beautifully. That, my friends, is true cleansing. If you truly want to cleanse your colon the right way, you must understand something very powerful. Hydration and smart fiber are the foundation of digestive health. Not pills, not powders, not harsh overnight flushes. Water and the right type of fiber can transform your gut more effectively than any extreme cleanse ever could. Let's begin with hydration. When you wake up in the morning, your body is naturally dehydrated. You've gone 6, 7, maybe 8 hours without fluids. During that time, your body has continued to function, breathing, circulating blood, repairing tissues, and your colon. It has continued absorbing water from the waste sitting inside it. If you don't replenish fluids first thing in the morning, that stool becomes dry, hard, difficult to pass. And then people wonder why they stir constipated. The colon's job is to absorb water. If you don't drink enough, it will take what little is available. That's not a malfunction, that's survival. This is why warm water in the morning is so powerful. Warm water stimulates what's called the gastrocolic reflex, a natural signal that tells your colon it's time to move. Cold water can slow digestion temporarily, but warm water relaxes and activates the digestive tract gently. Just 1 to 2 glasses upon waking can make a dramatic difference. You can add fresh lemon if tolerated. Lemon may stimulate bile flow and digestive enzymes, but even plain warm water is effective. The key is consistency. Now let's talk about fiber, but not the way most people understand it. Many people think fiber is fiber. They grab a random supplement, mix it in water, and expect miracles. But fiber is not one single thing. There are 2 major types, soluble and insoluble. Soluble fiber dissolves in water and forms a gel-like substance. It softens stool and makes it easier to pass. It also feeds beneficial gut bacteria, which produce compounds that support colon health. Insoluble fiber does not dissolve. It adds bulk and structure. It acts like a natural broom, sweeping through the intestines and helping push waste forward. You need both. If you only consume soluble fiber, you may soften stool but not create enough bulk to stimulate strong movement. If you only consume insoluble fiber without enough water, you may feel bloated or uncomfortable. Balance is everything. One of the most powerful combinations is chia seeds and ground flaxseed. When soaked in water, chia seeds expand and form a gel. That gel coats and lubricates the intestinal walls. It creates softness and smooth movement. Flaxseed adds both soluble and insoluble fiber plus beneficial omega-3 fatty acids that reduce inflammation. Together, they create a gentle sweeping effect, not a harsh purge. Think of it this way, you are not blasting the colon clean, you are guiding it. Vegetables are equally important. Leafy greens, steamed broccoli, zucchini, carrots. These provide natural fiber in its original balanced form. Whole foods deliver nutrients that work synergistically with fiber, including magnesium, potassium, and antioxidants. But here is something critical. Fiber without water is a problem. If you increase fiber dramatically but remain dehydrated, you can worsen constipation. Fiber absorbs water. Without adequate hydration, stool becomes bulky but dry. That leads to straining, and straining can lead to hemorrhoids, fissures, and discomfort. So hydration and fiber must work together. Another important factor is timing. Your digestive system responds to rhythm. If you eat irregularly, rush meals, or eat late at night, your colon may not establish a predictable elimination pattern. But when you hydrate first thing in the morning and consume fiber-rich foods consistently, the body learns the pattern. Your colon thrives on routine. Less sections also discuss the microbiome. Soluble fiber acts as a prebiotic. That means it feeds beneficial bacteria. These bacteria ferment fiber and produce short-chain fatty acids such as butyrate, which nourish the cells lining your colon. When those cells are healthy, motility improves, inflammation decreases, the entire system becomes more efficient. This is true cleansing, supporting the environment inside your gut so it functions optimally. Now, some people expect immediate results. They want dramatic flushing. They want to feel emptied out. But healthy elimination is not violent. It is steady. When you hydrate properly and consume balanced fiber daily, you should experience comfortable bowel movements that require minimal straining. You should not feel urgency, cramping, or weakness afterwards. If you do, something is off. Patience is important. If you've had years of poor dietary habits, your colon may take time to respond. Introduce fiber gradually. Start with 1 tablespoon of chia or flax daily. Increase vegetables slowly. Drink water consistently throughout the day, not all at once. Your body adapts beautifully when given the chance. Avoid the temptation to jump from product to product. Your colon doesn't need constant stimulation, it needs nourishment. Another key element is chewing. Digestion begins in the mouth. If you swallow food quickly, large particles enter the stomach and intestines. This slows digestion and can contribute to bloating. When you chew thoroughly, you assist the entire process. Fiber works more effectively when properly broken down. Slow down at meals, breathe, let your nervous system shift into rest and digest mode. My friends, cleansing is not about extremes. It is about intelligent support. Water hydrates and softens. Soluble fiber lubricates and feeds bacteria. Insoluble fiber adds bulk and stimulates movement. Together they restore natural rhythm. You don't still need to punish your body. You don't need drastic measures. When you respect the design of your digestive system and give it what it requires daily, the results are profound. Lightness, regularity, energy, comfort. That is the real colon cleanse. Not a one-day flush, but a lifestyle of hydration and smart fiber that allows your body to do what it was perfectly designed to do. If you truly want your colon to function the way it was designed, you must understand something very simple but very powerful. Movement minerals control motion. Your intestines are made of smooth muscle, and like every muscle in your body, they require proper nerve stimulation, circulation, and relaxation to function efficiently. When people struggle with constipation, they often look for a quick fix, but what they ignore are the 2 natural regulators of bowel movement, physical activity and magnesium balance. Let's start with movement. If you sit for long hours at a desk, on a couch, in a car, your digestive system slows down. The colon responds to body motion. When you walk, your abdominal wall contracts and relaxes rhythmically. That gentle mechanical stimulation encourages peristalsis, the wave-like contractions that move waste through the intestines. Peristalsis is not random, it's coordinated. It depends on nerve signals and muscle tone, and movement enhances both. Think about this. Have you ever noticed that when you travel long distances, especially sitting on a plane or in a car, your bowel habits change? That's not coincidence. Reduced activity equals reduced stimulation. Now here's the good news. You don't need intense workouts. You don't need to run marathons. Even 20 to 30 minutes of brisk walking daily can dramatically improve bowel motility. Walking increases blood flow to the digestive organs. It activates the core muscles. It stimulates the parasympathetic nervous system, the rest and digest branch that supports elimination. If you can, incorporate gentle twisting movements and squats. Deep squatting, even assisted, aligns the rectum in a more natural position for elimination. That's how human beings were designed to eliminate waste before modern toilets changed our posture. A small footstool under your feet while sitting on the toilet can help mimic that natural angle. These are simple mechanical truths. Now let's talk about magnesium, one of the most overlooked minerals in the body. Magnesium is essential for muscle relaxation. Calcium causes muscles to contract. Magnesium allows them to relax. Without adequate magnesium, muscles can become tight, spastic, or sluggish. Your colon is no exception. When magnesium levels are low, the intestinal muscles may not coordinate properly. Stool can move slowly. Cramping may occur. Incomplete elimination becomes common. Magnesium also draws water into the intestines naturally, not forcefully like a stimulant laxative, but gently. This softens stool and makes it easier to pass. This is why magnesium-rich foods are so powerful. Pumpkin seeds, spinach, almonds, avocados, legumes. These foods provide natural magnesium along with fiber and other supportive nutrients. They nourish the body while improving elimination. Now, some people turn to magnesium supplements. Certain forms, such as magnesium citrate, can promote bowel movements because they attract water into the colon. But here's the important part: dosage matters. Too much magnesium can cause diarrhea, electrolyte imbalance, and dehydration. The goal is not to flush the system aggressively. The goal is to restore balance. Food first, supplements only if necessary, and ideally under guidance. Another critical factor tied to movement and magnesium is circulation. When you move your body, blood flow increases to the intestines. Blood delivers oxygen and nutrients that keep the intestinal lining healthy. It supports nerve signaling. It enhances muscular coordination. Sedentary behavior reduces circulation. Reduced circulation means slower repair and weaker contractions over time. This is why individuals who remain active well into their 60s and 70s often report better digestion than those who are sedentary. It's not age alone that slows the colon, it's lifestyle. Let's also consider stress again. Movement reduces stress hormones like cortisol. High cortisol levels can interfere with digestive rhythm. When you walk outdoors, breathe deeply, and expose yourself to natural light, you regulate your nervous system. That directly influences bowel function. To see how interconnected this is, movement stimulates nerves. Movement improves circulation. Movement reduces stress. Movement strengthens abdominal muscles. All of that supports peristalsis. Now combine that with magnesium-rich nutrition. Magnesium calms the nervous system. It supports muscle relaxation. It helps regulate blood sugar. Balanced blood sugar prevents energy crashes that may reduce physical activity and digestive efficiency. It's a cycle. When you move, you feel better. When you feel better, you move more. When you nourish your body with proper minerals, your muscles respond properly. The colon begins to work as it should without force. And here's something very important. Consistency beats intensity. You don't need extreme workouts. In fact, overtraining can stress the body and disrupt digestion. Gentle, regular activity is ideal. A daily walk after meals can be incredibly beneficial. Even 10 minutes after eating can stimulate digestion and reduce bloating. Stretch your torso, rotate gently side to side, engage your core muscles, practice deep diaphragmatic breathing, expanding the abdomen fully as you inhale. The diaphragm moves downward and massages the abdominal organs, further encouraging bowel motion. Your body was designed for movement. Modern life has reduced that movement dramatically. Restore it and you restore function. My friends, the colon is not lazy. It is responsive. If you give it stimulation through activity and support through proper minerals, it responds beautifully. No harsh chemicals, no dependency, no damage to the delicate lining, just natural physiology working the way it was designed. Remember this, muscles that move stay strong, muscles that receive proper minerals function smoothly. A body that stays active eliminates efficiently. When you combine daily movement with magnesium-rich nutrition, you are not forcing elimination. You are allowing it. And that is the safest, most powerful way to cleanse your colon naturally. If you truly want to understand what a real colon cleanse is, you must look beyond waste. You must look beyond the toilet. You must look at the trillions of living organisms inside your gut. Because the truth is this. Your colon is not just a waste tube. It is a living ecosystem. Inside your large intestine lie trillions of bacteria, good and bad. This community is called the gut microbiome, and it plays a massive role in digestion, immunity, inflammation, metabolism, and even mood. When people talk about flushing toxins, they often imagine washing everything out. But if you wipe out the good bacteria along with the bad, you create more problems than you solve. True cleansing is not elimination alone, it is balance. Let me explain something very powerful. The good bacteria in your colon ferment certain types of fiber, especially soluble fiber. When they ferment it, they produce short-chain fatty acids like butyrate. These compounds nourish the cells lining your colon. They reduce inflammation. They strengthen the intestinal barrier. When your colon lining is strong and healthy, it moves efficiently. When it's inflamed or damaged, motility becomes irregular. You may experience constipation one day, diarrhea the next, bloating, gas, discomfort. So instead of thinking, how do I flush everything out? Ask yourself, how do I support the good bacteria? That sits the shift. Fermented foods are one of the most powerful tools. Yogurt with live cultures, kefir, sauerkraut, kimchi. These contain beneficial probiotics, living microorganisms that can help restore microbial balance. When consumed regularly, they may improve digestion and bowel regularity. But probiotics alone are not enough. You must feed them. This is where prebiotics come in. Prebiotics are specific types of fiber that beneficial bacteria use as fuel. Foods like garlic, onions, leeks, asparagus, bananas, oats, these provide nourishment to the good microbes. When you feed the right bacteria, they multiply, they crowd out harmful species, they produce protective compounds, they communicate with your immune system. Your immune system, by the way, is largely located in your gut, nearly 70% of it. So when your microbiome is imbalanced, inflammation increases, and inflammation can slow down digestion. You see how this connects? An unhealthy microbiome doesn't just cause bloating, it can contribute to sluggish elimination, irregular bowel patterns, even systemic fatigue. Another critical factor is antibiotics. Antibiotics save lives when necessary, but they also wipe out both harmful and beneficial bacteria. After a course of antibiotics, many people notice digestive changes, sometimes lasting for months. This is why rebuilding the microbiome afterward is essential. Now let's just talk about sugar and processed foods. Excess sugar feeds harmful bacteria and yeast. It shifts the microbial balance toward inflammation. Processed foods often lack fiber, which means the good bacteria starve. When beneficial bacteria starve, harmful species take over. And when harmful species dominate, they may produce gas, toxins, and inflammatory compounds that irritate the colon lining. That irritation can alter motility. This is why some people feel bloated and constipated after eating highly processed meals. It's not just the lack of fiber, it's the disruption of microbial balance. Stress also plays a major role. The gut and brain are directly connected through the vagus nerve. Emotional stress changes gut motility and alters microbial composition. Chronic stress can reduce beneficial bacteria and increase inflammation. That's why relaxation, deep breathing, and proper sleep are not luxuries. They are digestive therapies. Sleep especially is crucial. During sleep, your body repairs tissues, regulates hormones, and resets inflammatory pathways. Poor sleep disrupts the microbiome and digestive rhythm. Now let's address something important. Colon cleanses that aggressively flush out the intestines can disturb this ecosystem. Repeated extreme flushing can reduce bacterial diversity, and diversity is strength. A diverse microbiome is more resilient, more stable, and better at maintaining healthy bowel movements. Instead of flushing repeatedly, build consistently, eat fiber daily, consume fermented foods regularly, hydrate properly, reduce processed sugars, manage stress, sleep well. These are not dramatic actions, but they are powerful. Another fascinating aspect is that beneficial bacteria influence serotonin production, the neurotransmitter that affects mood and intestinal contraction. About 90% of serotonin is produced in the gut. When your microbiome is healthy, serotonin signaling improves, and serotonin plays a role in coordinating peristalsis. So your mood and your bowel movements are connected. That's why people with chronic stress or depression sometimes experience digestive disturbances. Everything is connected. My friends, the colon is not dirty, it is dynamic. It is not toxic by design, it is intelligent. Your job is not to wage war on it. Your job is to cultivate it. Think of your gut like a garden. If weeds grow, you don't burn the entire garden down. You remove what's harmful and nourish what's beneficial. You add compost, you water it, you protect it from harsh chemicals. And over time, the healthy plants dominate naturally. That is true cleansing. When your microbiome is balanced, you eliminate regularly, you absorb nutrients efficiently, you reduce inflammation, you feel lighter, you feel clearer. Not because you flushed everything out overnight, but because you restored harmony. The greatest colon cleanse is not a one-day event. It is daily microbial support. Feed the good bacteria, starve the harmful ones. Hydrate the system, move your body, calm your nervous system, and allow your colon to function exactly the way it was designed to. That, my friends, is the deepest level of detoxification, one that works with your biology, not against it.